Hello everybody, this is Tazitis and welcome back. As you can see, we're doing a little bit of a different video and everything else. This is another art and chat with me and everything else, but this time I want to also show you guys how I use references inside of ArtFlow. This app that I'm using is called ArtFlow and I highly recommend it. Now, I have currently not bought this app, everything is free to download, and this is basically how I'm using it. So basically, I took and went up here. It's locked right now, but you can see right here at the top of the, I have this thing right here, and as you can see right here where it's got a little orange lock on it and everything else, basically what it has is like a little download symbol. Now in the download symbol, what it's going to do, hang on, let me see if I can't go back. Just shove that down there. Anyway, let me do this. Okay, I'm going to go into here where it says files, and I'm going to try going into here, and as you can see there's a whole bunch of like these really pretty drawings and stuff and all that I'm trying to take inspiration from, but also trying to like figure out the shading and stuff and all, like how does it work and everything else and all. And this one I really like. So basically I'm going to take her silhouette and I'm going to trace it and then I'm going to add on to it, and this is basically how I use references. In fact, a lot of people use references in all this way. It's an old-timey photograph, but first I need to blow her up. And right here, sorry, I need to cancel this real quick. Right here it's going to have, okay, we're going to go, I'm sorry I don't have the pointer for you guys. Okay, at the very top of the screen, you'll see the orange lock. You'll see the down button, everything. That means you push the file down into the other one. You basically, this one does layers, everything, and then you have like the little switches and switches right down there below the little two circles, and right below the switches and everything, you'll have like 4 arrows pointing in different directions. The four arrows pointing in different directions are the ones I'm going for right now. This helps me to take this photograph and everything else and all. And this one right here is the one where it has two on top of each other and everything else. So this one helps me to move it around. Helps me to move around and to place her in the area that I want. And the area that I want kind of is right in the middle. So I'm going to just place her right here. And then this one also allows me to like change her form and also put her in different directions and all. So this one with the little spinny triangle in the middle helps me thing. And this one is the one I'm looking for. The one right here where it has a tiny little white square inside the big one. This helps me blow her up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow her up, and I'm going to go over to the second one. I'm going to place her in the middle, blow her up again, and then do that. Except I'm going to shrink her down a little bit because I kind of want to be able to do the background. I want to be able to do the background, do stuff with the background. Okay, so, and I'm going to do this because she's a little lopsided, so I'm going to just tilt her a little bit that way and everything else and all. And just for the fun of it, I might flip her. Do I like her better that way or this? I kind of like her better this way. Yeah, let's do this way. And this is basically how I use references and everything else and all. I don't think there's a wrong way of doing it and everything. This is not copywriting or anything else and all, because I'm just taking the photograph and then I'm going to trace, basically just trace the image itself and everything and get a good thing. And then I'm just going to delete the photo and then I'm just going to recreate on top of that and everything else. So basically silhouette is what I'm copying, but I'm also going to be copying the, I'm also going to be adding a whole bunch of stuff in. So this is how you're supposed to use references, at least as far as I know. At least from what I've heard other artists talk about and everything else, I've done this kind of thing. So we're going to do that. And then as you can see, one of this big squares and everything is highlighted and has her picture in it. That's not the one we're going to do. Here's where the difficult part comes in. We're going to take and we're going to go down the next one. See, now the one bottom of it is highlighted. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this pencil, and here's the tricky part. We can't see any of what we're highlighting. So basically, we're not going to be able to see until things. So basically, what we're going to do is going to zoom in, and then I'm going to trace it with my finger. I'm going to chase it with my finger. I know you guys can't see a thing. That's kind of the point. Anyway, well, that's not the point. My point is, basically, what you have to do is you have to basically eyeball it. So basically, what you're doing is you're taking this and you're tracing the image, but you're doing it completely blind. So in a lot of ways, this is good practice and everything else and all. What I'm doing is I'm basically tracing her silhouette. I'm just going over my finger and tracing. Again, I know you guys can't see anything. That's just how it is. I can't see anything either. I'm just blindly going over her lines. And I'm just going over her hair. Just going over her silhouette as lightly as I can. And I'm just taking these pencil marks and everything else, and I'm going over as light as I can. And the reason for it is because what's happening is I'm taking and going over her image, but because the image is blocking it, you can't see it and everything else and all. What I'm secretly doing is I'm basically taking her image and all. is I'm tracing her image, but I'm not, but you can't see it. So in a lot of ways, I'm basically drawing this, tracing it, but I'm also drawing it from like scratch and stuff. I also want to put like circles and stuff where her arms are, because I can definitely see her shoulders and everything else and all. Also, hopefully it'll be really light by the time I get to it, and some areas will be dark, because again, I'm going over the same areas and I can't see anything. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we're going to go into here, and what we're going to do is, you see this one, it's hard to see and everything else unless you squint and everything, but there's a little eyeball. Inside this, instead of both these things, there is an eyeball and there is a lock. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the front one, and we're going to hit that, and as you can see, now we got a silhouette. See what I just did? Now we got a silhouette of her. Got a pretty silhouette of a beautiful girl, and it does not look anything like what we just saw, except for the shape. Now, see that? I forgot her shoes. Okay, now what we're going to do... No. Okay. And now we got her little boots. So now we got a silhouette of a woman and everything else and all, and now we're going to take this image, and now we're going to take this image and see the hammer. We're going to take the hammer, and what that's going to do is it's going to erase the layer. And now we can erase the layer. Take this other layer, and I'm going to push this into there. And we're just going to, the down arrow key, we're just going to push it into there. And now we got our image. And basically, that's what we're going to work with today. And that's basically this really helps out and everything and all. What we're talking about. I mentioned it in the last video, but it was really at the end of my last Dragoncraft video and everything else and all. My Dragoncraft video and everything, where we're talking about, like, I watched this video of this guy and everything and all, and he was talking about, he was basically talking about how people, like, mental health and everything else and all, and how it was wrong to do, basically, like, a lot of people in life and everything and all, and I know we all do this, compared themselves to stuff they saw on the internet, and they compared themselves to stuff they saw on the internet, talk about, like, they got all these people online that'll do this stuff and everything else and all, and everything else. They'll put on filters, they'll put on stuff, and they'll basically, like, basically these people romanticize their life on the internet and everything else and all, and they'll, say things like this and everything else and all. And then the people that are watching and everything else and all will look at this and they'll compare themselves to stuff online, and then their mental health, like, affects mental health. They'll be like, why is my partner like that? Why is my kids not like that? Why is my life not like that? They take the romanticized and edited version of stuff online, and they think of that as reality and all, and then they wonder why they're upset. They're comparing themselves to stuff in reality, and then they wonder why they're upset about things. They wonder, like, why am I so upset about this and everything else? You're upset because you're comparing yourself to something that's not entirely true. I mean, those YouTubers and stuff and those editors, like, I'm not going to name names, but let's just say, like, Mr. Beast or something else, for example. Well, I don't, look, understand. Mr. Beast's probably a very good guy, probably thing, but he does probably edit a lot of his videos and stuff and other things. But it's like you're glorifying your life based upon somebody who's probably done a lot of editing, and a lot of people's romanticizing a lot of what they're doing, so. And then you're wondering why you're upset. You're wondering why you're depressed, and why so many people are just so upset about the way things are. And it's like, you know, you don't have a lot of realistic lifestyles online. You don't have a lot of realistic stuff online. You have a lot of expectations and stuff and everything online. And I've noticed this myself, that this is a thing that happens and everything. I find myself comparing myself a lot to people like, let's say, Markiplier and everything else. Markiplier is my hero. I compare myself to him so much and everything else and all. And I even try to go and try to, as you can see, try to copy what he is, because I try to be so much like him and everything. With the, not just with the video games and stuff and everything else and all, but at the same time I also try to be real to myself, because the one thing Markiplier has always taught me is that basically be yourself. Like, don't be scared to be yourself and everything else and all, because if people like you, they're going to like you for who you are and everything else and all, and the rest will come. Like, the people that love you will love you for who you are. They won't love you because of something you're on or anything else and all. You know, you're just somebody playing a video game, just a one little person playing a video game in a world that is like losing its marbles or whatever. And also, so it's like, something like that. So that's what I listened to that, and I kind of didn't want to do that anymore and everything else and all. I talk a lot about, I don't want to do that. I talk a thing, and it's something that I thought when the minute I started wanting to do my YouTube channel, and I was like, I want to do this for myself. I don't just want to do this for people. I want to do it for myself. That's not something I want to do, but I do want to do this for myself, but I also want to do stuff to make people happy. I want to make people happy, and I want to make people joyous, and I want to, like, people to at least watch my videos, click on one and be like, oh, that's nice, or, sit down or play a game, or, like, listen to me chat about my art or thing. I don't want to push my beliefs on somebody, but at the same time, it's kind of like, if people don't like me, then I can't do anything about that. Like, this is who I am, and there's, like, millions of other YouTubers out there they could be watching, so it's that balance of, like, I don't want to care what people think and everything, but also I don't want to lie to them. I don't want to push things down their throat, but I don't want to lie to them and all. So it's kind of like I've decided I want to stop romanticizing my life online and be more realistic about who I am online, but also still be cautious and still be safe enough that I'm not sharing everything with you guys, because I think that's safe. Even Markiplier himself does not show everything to his fans. Even like PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye and Arston don't show everything that's going on in their life. They'll explain it and they'll summarize it, like, I've been having a bad time this week, or I've been thinking bad things. They'll summarize it, but they won't go into all the gory details and stuff and all. And that's something, even before I started my YouTube channel, something I didn't want to do either and everything else. I started my channel and everything else and all. I wanted to start it because I spent so long and everything and all, like, basically being like, I'm terrified of what's going to happen. Like, this is what I wanted to do, and I'd watch all these other YouTubers who do this stuff, and go through the struggles of YouTube and everything, and just felt so unfair. And also just kind of want to do that myself and thing, just to, like, have that, I don't want to say euphoria, but that euphoria of, like, being able to create and be able to share that with people and everything else, to be able to do that stuff and everything, and be able to have, like, find people online that are, like-minded, or just be able to do something for yourself that's fun and everything else. No, you're not hurting anyone, so who cares, kind of thing. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to do. So basically, I just don't want to romanticize my life, but I am going to, like, not be as open, but I am going to be, like, I keep talking a lot about, like, I didn't, in the beginning and everything of my videos and everything, I didn't say, hey guys, like and subscribe this video and everything else and all. But then I realized that because somebody once told me, and I was, like, listening to somebody, like, how do you get likes and everything else and all. And it's basically, like, he was talking about, like, basically, unless you remind people in the audience and everything and all to like and subscribe, they're not going to remember. They're not going to remember. They're not going to know that's the thing they can do. So you have to remind them and all. So I started putting online, hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment down below, and if you don't. And then I didn't want to push that and everything. So I said, why don't you guys bookmark me and everything else and all. So I was like, hey, why don't you guys bookmark me? Because that's something that I do all the time. I don't subscribe to people. I take the thing on top of my screen, I bookmark it, and that's how I do things. That's how, and if I like the guy or I like the person online, I just go back and I just go into my bookmarks and I just get the bookmark and I check onto them whenever I think thing, or I just stay on their videos and I just watch their old videos, and that's just how I've done. That's how I've always done, kind of things and all. I've been worried about subscribing because you can't subscribe without actually getting access and actually being part of the YouTube thing and everything and all, and that just pissed me off. That aggravated me. Like, every single time I wanted to watch a YouTube video, I had to, like, subscribe, or basically I had to, like, get into my Google account, and then I had to worry about the Google account locking me out and stuff and all like that. And that was just so ridiculous, and I know a lot of people feel the same way. Like, why would I subscribe? Why would I literally every single time I go to watch a YouTube video, when I could just watch the YouTube video, and if I need to, I could just bookmark it for later and everything else, and all do that kind of stuff and everything. Don't need to do that sort of stuff. Like, I don't need to bookmark. I don't need to subscribe and like your channel. I could just put a bookmark in and everything, and that doesn't matter. But over the time of years, everything, even as people were like, hey, like and subscribe and everything else, it helps out the channel, I still would be on the fence about liking and subscribing to the channel and everything else. I didn't want to do that, so I just kept on bookmarking. So it's stuff like that. But then I'm like, I don't want to push that on people. I don't want to be like, hey, like and subscribe, because it helps me out and everything else and all. It's kind of a thing of, like, it helps my channel out, and it really does help me balance and become a good YouTuber, and helps me be able to accomplish more things, but also, like, pushes a little bit too much. So I'm trying to find the balance between that stuff. And there's also the intros. The intro between, like, hey, everybody, this is Tazitis. It's infectious and stuff like that and all. I love that. I really do love that and all. But I'm just trying to figure out, like, how does that work? Like, how can I do that naturally? How can I do that thing? And I think that's all something we have to do in the council. I think we all have to find, like, our paths of thing, but also we can't be fake with each other. The reason I started this channel is for me, but it's also because I wanted to make people happy. I wanted to make people joyous and everything else and all. And at the end of the day, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, as long as I'm doing it for me, as well as not being fake with people, I think that's what matters the most. As long as I can walk away from this being happy and making some people happy, that's all I want. Anyway, that's basically all I can do with this drawing right now. And thank you guys so much for listening to my ramble. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys